Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Ansatsu Kyoushitsu, or you call it Assassination Classroom, on chapter 179. Yes, this chapter. Eventually, the second to last chapter of Assassination Classroom just came out today. I read the raw version this morning the moment I woke up. I woke up from my sleep, and I end up reading the translated version later after a friend tagged me in a certain website. As usual, I end up seeing it, reading it, and it was pretty fun. And I'm really glad to see it come to a certain end. And if anything else, let's just get this recap started. Okay, after that graduation, etc., we have to it that things were starting to look a little strange. As for Yanagisawa, the guy who made Koro Sensei into an octopus, yes, that motherfucking antagonist. He is alive apparently, but he was in a vegetative state. Not to mention that his research is scrapped and destroyed due to the fact of what he did. So we have to it that he is pretty much on life support. He is alive, but he can no longer move. He can't even live by himself. If he could have used his good mind for humanity, but he did it for his own greed and brought himself to ruin. As for Gakusho Asano, apparently after all the students graduated, he was heavily criticized of what he did with Koro Sensei, not to mention endangering his students, and because of his discriminating teaching method, he is forced to step down and relinquish his position as chairman of Kunagigawa Oka. Now, this part was really, I could not even read at all, apparently, so I had to do some research and had to, figure out, what did this page say exactly. So, it pretty much shows that he is pretty much having to resign from his chairman position from Kunigoka Middle School. As the usual, he had two old students come on by, which is Nagi-kun, Nagai, and Mori, which they decide to have a little talk and decide to celebrate. As for Class E, they were rewarded with 300 billion provided right away. But apparently they had a debate what to do, and they looked into Koro Sensei's advice book, and he ends up saying achievement is what's important. If you rely on a huge amount of money, growing yourself to be a better person is impossible. So they decided to take the amount of money and pay out rent tuition possibly. And they even donated a couple money too. And they went for expensive shopping, which is really funny. But as for the moon, it just collapsed right now apparently. After taking a lot of damage and circling around the earth millions of times, we had to it that the moon finally crumbles and it goes into a time skip. We had to it that Kurasama is married to Erina, which is really funny, and they end up having a little comedic moment with each other, and of course, Erina has not changed a bit. It was 7 years already, which I'm pretty sure the kids have graduated high school and moved on with their lives. 7 years, come on, they're done with middle school, count another 3 years in, and they what, graduated from high school or someone like that and gotten a job at least, or are going to college? Obviously. And we have to it that some people came back to Class E, which is Kayano. And for Pete's sakes, damn, she changed greatly. Not to mention that sexiness black hair right there, And we had to it some other former Class E students come on by to clean the place up too, And things were starting to look pretty nice. They end up talking to each other, on what to do. And Kayano is being Miss Popularity apparently with her parkour and so forth, and she's having a lot of acting skills. Not to mention freaking Okazima has to stop taking photo shoots. And everything else seems to be okay, And Kayano thinks we don't believe that a graveyard was necessary because they believe Koro Sensei and Kayano's sister is not dead, Not to mention, Isokai talks to Megu and says, we gotta find a way how to, use this land and not sparing it, Because we're all gonna get busy when we find a job. And even though, Playboy says that Okano is using the backside of the mountain for acrobatic practice or performance, And we have to it that Kurahashi, who's that beetle girl apparently, is starting to collect some money and making it and running a kids camp, As for Crow-sensei's great legacy and so forth, Kayano has one person in mind who would be perfect for this place, And obviously, we already know one person she's thinking of, and it's pretty obvious, And this is just a hypothesis theory. I'm just gonna say out there. When Kayano says there's one person who would be perfect for this place, I believe it might be Nagisa. He says he wants to be a teacher many chapters back, so I believe it has to be him. But I could be wrong in other cases. We have to find out next chapter. But anyways, this chapter shows a lot of kids growing up and what happened after graduation, that guy Yanasagawa, whatever his name is in a vegetative state. He can't even live on his own anymore. And we have to it that after many years of passing and getting their money, Class E room is still there, And everyone's grown up, and it shows a lot, which I really am happy to see. Kayano changed greatly in terms of appearance. She has longer hair, not to mention I think they're black now. I don't know if it's a costume, but for all Pete's sakes, it's all there. So, pretty cool chapter. Next week is the final chapter. That is where I'm gonna give out my final recap on the manga series and my final thoughts, because that's where the chapter is ending, etc. And honestly, it's been a very, very good ride right now. We just gotta read next week's final chapter, and that's it. Had a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do, even though if it's just like a time skip, which usually happens in shonen genres lately. I mean, we all seen it. We all read a lot. Make an example of One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, etc. So yeah. Until then, I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed the chapter as much as I did. I'm Alpha Zero. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye-bye.